adventure in Puntland on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here with the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with our next guest who are some killer musicians and friends of mine. So let's welcome to the show, Mikey from Fight From Within.
Yay! What's going on, guys, man? It's good to see you again.
Hey, good seeing you, man.
Yeah, dude, I had a blast last time we were hanging out.
It's always fun. It's always fun, and I have a blast that you have this new single out, Let Me Out.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the mantra of my life right now, and which is why I went to Costa Rica last month to escape. That was a let me out moment. Get me away from all this insanity that's going on.
Yeah.
And that's what music's all about.
100%.
And, I want to hear about the surprise.
Oh, the other song? So yeah, we dropped TATT, which is TATT, Tired All the Time. We dropped that with it because it was just something that we wrote, and it was so true because, God, we're exhausted. We're so exhausted. It's hard out here, man. But, Let Me Out, too, I feel like depending on what you did in Costa Rica or what you've done in the past. So that song is literally about a bad LSD trip.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So if you look at the lyrics, it was about a bad acid trip. The song itself instrumentally was just very, I felt like it was extreme. It was extreme and it was super trippy. The way the way that we blended the breakdown in the middle and everything. So I formulated it around a bad acid trip. Not saying that I've ever done acid or anything like that.
Well, only somebody that's done would know what it's like to have a bad one and want to get out of it. And
want to get out when you're sitting there for 9 hours later. Why won't it stop?
Exactly. And to me, I think that's what makes great music too, is everybody puts their own meaning to stuff. And there's so many things that people could say, let me out to nowadays.
100%.
And as far as the other song, Tired All the Time. Well, listen, I don't know how you could even be a musician today. Like, back in the day, if you were a musician, you fucked off, you partied, sex, and all that. And people would cheer you on. Nowadays, you don't have record labels throwing that silly money at people. So you have to work all the time. And it's such hard work being a musician nowadays. You have so much to compete with. Like, there's so many bands. And people don't even give you, because of their short attention span, that the amount of time that's necessary.
No, 100%.
And so, yeah, I mean, that is definitely, like some of my favorite songs. Perfect example. I was doing coverage at what do you call it, at Hell's Heroes, and Udo was there, and I heard the beginning of his set, and it took me only 1 second to know what song it was. But that first 10 seconds is something that nowadays kids probably wouldn't even listen to. And that was Fast as a Shark. And when it's starting to be do-dee-da-da, most kids nowadays would probably go to the next track after hearing that. And they would have missed one of the best songs ever.
Yeah. I listen to all types of crazy shit. I was to this day, I listen to my favorite Pink Floyd EP with Animals. Right.
Nice.
I love that. And I'll be putting it on and people be like, what are you listening to? And I'm like, are you out of your mind? This is music, man.
that album specifically has given me insight to all my bad choices of women for the rest of my life. And I'll tell you why. because, okay, so I was 12 years old. My dad's business partner had two stepdaughters. Both of them were super hot. Okay. One was 13, one was 11. The 13-year-old, she was like, I was still kind of geeky. I wasn't even really that cool yet. Like, I was still, I was still kind of like that, you're on that border of geekiness and cooldom at that 12-year-old mark.
Right. And that mix of puberty when it's starting to hit.
Exactly. And okay, so she turned me on to that album, Animals. And to this day, I can't listen to that album without thinking about her. Now, the funny part about the story is I had a total crush on her, massive, but she was 13. I'm 12. That wasn't happening. Her boyfriend was some dude, Van, who was 17 or 18, like that type, that situation.
Yeah.
And she also, she was partying, doing drugs. I hadn't found that life yet. Yeah. And then there was her sister who was 11, who was also super hot, and she had a super crush on me. And I wasn't interested at all because she was too young.
I feel like that happens still a lot, like especially younger. The ones you were chasing weren't interested, and the ones that were chasing you weren't interested in.
Oh, totally. I think it happens to everybody as adults too. But here's the best part. Okay. So the older one, she ended up like a heroin addict, prostitute, all these things. That's like I dodged the bullet that her not liking me. And yeah, it is sad. But karma is a bitch, and somebody up there has a sense of humor, because the younger one, she became a famous supermodel, and that's the one I turned down. So I look at it now, I'm like, that was the beginning of my wrong choices.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all things. I can listen to the song Dogs so much. That 17-minute masterpiece has always been stuck.
Imagine, we were just talking about this in last interview. Imagine somebody listening to a 17-minute song now, like a kid.
No, that's 17 songs now.
Exactly. I was talking about, imagine kids would never listen to Dazed and Confused because it was too long. And I think that's what's making a comeback a little, though, is that bands, are going back to musicianship. And I think the even younger generations are going back to that too, because I have like two granddaughters that what did they want for their birthday? They wanted me to take them to get them a vinyl.
Yeah.
Like
definitely the hardcore community too. The hardcore community tends to be extremely just about the music.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
And that's good to see, especially with younger kids these days. Unfortunately, a lot of it, it sets yourself up that you right now you have to just learn how to be your own label. It's kind of like you were saying earlier, because a lot of people aren't taking people and spending that kind of money anymore. And now everything's so oversaturated, but you actually have the tools to get out there. You just have to be able to use them. And a lot of people don't want to even bother learning how.
Yeah. And it's a lot, you go back to the day of the tape trading days. That was fun. It wasn't a lot. But like even what I do, I have to be on all these different socials, and it's like sometimes I just want to like throw it all out the window, because it's like it's so much for you artists to have to do. You can't just do like one thing. You can't do like Motley Crue did and plaster flyers all over LA on telephone poles, and you have so much. It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job, 1,000,000%. As a band manager too, I tell my guys, I'm like, listen, if you think you can take a day off, you can't. Like,
you're not relevant anymore.
No, man. If you take a couple hours off, people don't know who you are anymore. So it's so important to just be in front of someone's face constantly, right? And that's something that my band has been pretty successful at with our like impact reels that we have. You know, someone crashes into a car and all of a sudden it goes to a breakdown, right? It really punches people into your music. It makes people pay attention, right? And that's hard now. It's hard to get anyone's attention.
Yeah, totally. And even from my end, like, as you know, because we met this way, I go on tour and I do media coverage at music festivals all over the US, UK, Europe. There's sometimes that I'm like, maybe I'm going to sit out this year, this one. And then it's like, no, I can't.
I can't.
You can't sit one out. You know,
No.
It's like, otherwise, you're not relevant anymore the next year.
Even me, my band doesn't even have to be playing, and I somehow need to make sure that I'm there.
Right.
You know, my band still has to have a representative at these things, even if we're not playing.
Exactly. Now, that's also the beauty nowadays is that you do have people like Danny Wimmer that are putting on these major festivals and bringing artists up that normally wouldn't, because that used to be like, it's coming back next year, but that used to be Ozfest. Is like, I remember I was at Ozfest 99 and saw on the third little teeny stage Slipknot, Mudvayne, and In This Moment, all on the little teeny stage.
Yeah, it's insane. I remember one of my things as a kid. You remember Hit Parader and Circus Magazine?
Totally.
Dude, my bedroom was just posted in all those pictures that would have. So Mudvayne, Chad Gray is like my idol.
Nice.
Right. So when I got to meet him at Louder Than Life and actually hang out with the guys, their guitarist Marcus Rafferty is a good friend of mine. So yeah, it was a really cool experience. And you know, Danny Wimmer, dude, you know, like their whole community, they just want everybody. They provide literally a spot where everyone can just network and talk and help each other grow and form connections and relationships. I feel like I owe Danny Wimmer like half of our career, honestly.
And there's a lot of bands that could say the same, you know, like he discovers bands. The funniest thing I remember is, you know, the band Silly Goose, right?
Yep.
So I'm trying to remember which festival it was. I'm pretty sure
all of them.
But the first one that they crashed, okay, like old school punk bands used to do.
Yeah.
They just pulled up and they played in the parking area without permission. And Wimmer was sitting there with his arms folded watching them.
Yep.
Next day, they were on the stage.
Yep.
On a real stage, and they've been on festivals ever since.
Yeah, they're so sick. I remember seeing that happen, and then we ended up playing the festival Incarceration. We played the small stage, but they played the campground stage, and they had people hanging in trees. Dude, it was a party out there.
Oh yeah,
and they're kind of like, even for being younger, like they're definitely an inspiration to people who are older. I feel like too, man, getting out there and really getting back to the roots of just, we're gonna play whether the fuck you like it or not.
Yeah, and you know, it is funny because they were, before the Danny Wimmer thing, they were going on tour doing this. Like it wasn't a tour that was booked. It was just, let's get in the trailer. I remember I was covering Riot Fest and they were outside the venue promoting a Subway show they were having.
Yeah, they were playing. I think it was Lollapalooza. They shut down a parking lot and started playing there. They got arrested in Atlanta for playing in a gas station.
I have the shirt for that.
The shirt, yeah. Dude, you know, good for them, man. That's the stuff you got to, you know, it's crazy that you have to go risk a criminal record to get noticed nowadays.
Right. You know, and there's so many bands out there and so many artists that you do have to go outside the box to get noticed.
There's just no choice, man. You have to provide something different or be relevant, and you have to. If you're not going to hustle 24/7, then you really have to have something going on. You really have to be innovative in some sort of way, right?
Totally.
So there's not really a choice. You're either going to hustle like the rest of us do, or you're going to come up with something that's never been heard before.
And that is what you guys are all about. You're the band headed into 2026. It's like a freight train, all gas, no brakes.
Yeah. We focused on touring this year. Like the festival route is amazing. But we played basically every festival last year. So to go back, it's not as easy. Or that you even want to, because you want to create a demand. You don't want to oversaturate festivals just as much as you don't want to oversaturate your hometown, right? We were lucky enough to have Incarceration back. So Incarceration, we won to get on the first one. Dan Jensen picked us up for the next year, and then they basically gave us our own headlining show the day before, right? So that festival in itself, we've been able to build such an amazing network of amazing people that want us back there. But, we had to take a year off, man,
I hear you. It's like, it's funny because even recently, because last year was brutal for me. Like I was at a festival every weekend from March till October.
God, it's a beautiful thing though.
And it is fun. Like I bring my daughter, and she'll be like halfway through the first day of a festival. She's like, Dad, I don't know how you do this every weekend. I'm done already. And I don't know how I don't. But there are some times that I'm like, well, that as much as I hated it, that period of time during COVID was kind of nice to get that little forced break, but still be able to be relevant because you had no choice by that break. That being said, after that break, it was like, oh my God, I don't know how I lived for 2 years without live music.
No, 100%. Yeah. I think my band was, that's where we formed during COVID. So like we were, lucky enough to just hit the ground running when everything opened back up, which is, it sucks for a lot of people that there was a lot of people that hit the ground running right before COVID started. And they got kind of halted.
I interviewed a bunch of them that they were like about to break out, and then that's it, halted, like you said.
And then if you didn't stay relevant on the internet, then you just fizzled away.
Totally, and that's hard work right there.
Yeah.
So what else can we expect from you guys for the rest of 2026?
Well, we got a bunch of music coming out. We ended up dropping that together, and we've been kind of thinking of just sporadically dropping music, right? Like, hey,
I love it.
Here, who knows? Maybe next month we're gonna have 2 songs come out, right? Who knows? Maybe we're gonna drop an EP. Who knows? Maybe we're gonna drop 4 singles in a month. Maybe we're gonna drop. But I know that you guys are gonna just constantly have music from us. That's something I do know.
And I love that you had that surprise hidden track. That's badass. Stuff like that is what sets a band like you aside from the rest of the crowd. And that's really what you need to do nowadays. You have to stand out.
We're trying to stay relevant. We're trying to hit tours. We'd like to get out to the West Coast. As far as festivals go, we have a few smaller ones this year. We're probably going to aim to try to hit Rockville and Aftershock, 2 places we haven't been yet, maybe next year, right? Or maybe do the circuit for 2027. But this year, we're leaning on a bunch of our own tours. We have a run with Autumn Lies Buried. We're doing a 4-day run with. We're going to be going to Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, and Joliet, Illinois. It's outside of Chicago. Then we have a tour right after that. We're jumping on with Confessions of a Traitor and Exit Wounds, where we're going to be hitting the from Chicago to New England all the way down to Florida. And then we're cool enough, man, to actually go play 2 shows with direct support for Upon a Burning Body in Texas.
Nice.
And we're going on tour with Young Mosh, bringing them with us from Memphis all the way down to Scene El Rey, which is right on the border.
Wow. Yeah. Very cool.
So that's going to be really cool. And then we have another tour we haven't announced yet. So.
Ooh. So everybody's going to have to watch out for that, huh?
Oh yeah, 100%. We're trying to get out to the West Coast sooner or later too. That's the next trip. We might as well be traveling to Russia at that point, but
right. Well, you need to tell everybody how they can reach out to you on the socials, on the web, so they can watch out for all these happenings that are going to be coming and not miss them.
Yeah, 100%. Everything can be really found on fightfromwithin.com. That's our website. It'll have our updated tour routes. We're extremely active on Facebook, ridiculously active, that is, honestly. And you can find everything there. Our Instagram, Fight From Within NY, on everything. Also, my own little business venture, me and my partner and a few other agents, we started our own booking agency and management company that we've been putting out there called the Core Collective. And you can stay up to date with that and all our bands that we have over there as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love your band. Everybody has to check you out. They can't listen to my show unless they go to some shows and buy some merch.
Okay.
I'll ban them from the show if they don't.
we need it. We need it.
Well, and I say that, jokingly, but it is true. That's the only way bands can get out there and give you a live show and new music is through merch, because surely Audify is not paying you.
No, 100%. That's not happening. But if you get enough streams, you can make money. I will say that.
Well, there you go. And so you got to get out there. Everybody get out there, get them enough streams. And do you have any final words for our listeners?
I guess that's it, man. Just keep supporting the scene. I will say this. The music scene is in a lot of trouble right now. So it's more imperative now than ever to get out there and support people and buy pre-sale tickets and make promoters feel comfortable that they can still bring people out and they're not going to lose their house over it.
No better words right there, because there's been a bunch of festivals that are usually on the PipemanRadio tour that are not going to be there this year.
And that's unfortunate.
One of them's one of my favorites that it blows my mind, but state of the world we're in right now, and that's Punk Rock Bowling in Vegas. Yeah. Like I'm shocked I found out they're not going to have one this year.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's kind of hard to do anything in California or out that way when it's $7 a gallon right now.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And people don't realize, that's why I say they have to support bands buying their merch, because it's a very costly thing to go on tour.
The merch is vitally important for artists. I sit here and I tell everybody right now, as somebody who's deeply rooted as far as booking across the country, working with these festivals, pre-sale tickets. It's cheaper. I understand that, like, when I say pre-sale tickets, imagine I'm not talking about Ticketmaster or Live Nation. And that's those companies with the fees have given a stigma to the smaller ticketing companies that are trying to survive and the promoters that are trying to survive. If the pre-sale, you're going to see tours getting canceled and shows getting canceled left and right if there can't be some kind of compiled data proving that the show is not going to flop. And the only way you're going to be able to save that is by buying pre-sale tickets for these bands that you care about. Do not wait until the last 30 days to buy a ticket, because by that time they might already be thinking about canceling. It doesn't even matter if 160 people show up the day of show. If they don't know that's going to happen, the show's not going to be there. Yeah,
it's a bummer, and we need music more than ever right now, because it's the best therapy there is.
Yeah, well, you're lucky enough to have people like you and people like me that are fighting to try to keep that happening, right? So
there you go. Well, you guys rock.
Thank you.
And I look forward. You definitely have to be at Rockville and Aftershock, because Rockville, well, that's my home state for festivals. But you get to drive on the Daytona Speedway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been there. It's really cool. Are you in Florida?
Yeah, I'm in South Florida. You're
okay.
No, I'm not. Most bands, you're not coming down my way, because
the closest we're gonna be to you is Winter Park.
Yeah, which isn't bad. It's a couple hours.
Yeah.
So, and I would drive up there for one of your shows if I'm not out at a festival. So I'll have to look into that. But
May 24th, I believe, or the 23rd. It's that weekend.
Oh, is that the same weekend as Milwaukee Metal Fest?
Probably.
I might be there. We'll
and that's all right.
We'll check it out because I would always support you guys. You guys rock.
I appreciate that.
You're a badass band. And Aftershock, by the way, my favorite of all the winter festivals.
Are you going to be at Ink this year?
I'm deciding right now.
Well, you'll get to hang out with me if you come.
Yeah, I'm usually there every year. And I'm deciding right now. I do have all my travel booked, so I'm deciding more on the yes than the no.
All right.
But Aftershock has the coolest media artist lounge you ever saw. Like it's a hang. It's a lot of fun.
That's something I definitely can't wait to get a part of. Hopefully next year.
There it is. All right, we're making that happen. We're putting it out in the universe.
All right, let's put it out there.
So thanks a lot for giving us great music, and thanks once again for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Of course, brother. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.